Hi, this is Ellen Hoverston, one of the race directors with WausaUltra.
Jen here.
We're so excited to talk about our 2023 race weekend coming up. Just wanted to share some information about both the backyard as well as the DoubleDown races and the Sylvan Summit. Hope we can answer some questions, but we also, well, I'll get into it. So hope we can answer some questions. First thing I wanted to go over was just our schedule for this year. So starting on Monday, April 24th, we will be having this video coming out, and it goes really well, pairs well with our athlete guide that you can find on our website. We're going to be going over that in detail, and like I said, should be giving you some more details. On Wednesday of race week, April 26th, we are going to be having a live Q&A. It'll be on Facebook, and then afterward we'll try and get the link out on Instagram, email, that kind of thing. But if you want to be a part of it, 6:30 p.m. on April 26th, you can post questions and we'll answer them live time. All 6 of us will be there, so in case one of us doesn't know the answer, maybe the others do. Friday, April 28th is when the backyard's going to be starting. So you cannot spend the night here at Sylvan Hill on Thursday. You can't come at 2 a.m. on Friday. 6 a.m. is when Sylvan Park opens. You're welcome to come, park, start getting your tent set up, check in, get your bib, and all your awesome race swag, starting at 6 a.m. and then until 9:30 a.m. We have, if you've never been here, the parking lot, it's pretty easy to make your way around. The parking lot, we have this lovely outdoor pavilion where you'll see our big arch, and then we have a chalet, which is where you'll pick up your bib and all your swag. If you're lost, just grab someone and we'll direct you to where you need to go. 9:45, we'll have the backyard racers start gathering in front of the race start. And then we're going to give a 3-minute warning at 9:57, 2-minute 9:58, and you guessed it, a 1-minute warning at 9:59. Race is going to start at 10 a.m. And you have to start right then, start your first loop, and then you continue for all of eternity. So, but no, 10 a.m. is go time for the backyard. You have 1 hour to complete your 4.167 loop, and then you have to be here on the starting line to start your second loop, and so on and so forth. Rest of the day is pretty predictable. You guys keep doing loops. We keep supporting you. We'll have our area set up so you can get food and drink. So let us know if you have questions about that. 10 p.m. On Friday, Saturday, Sunday night, that's when the park technically closes to the public. So we do ask that we follow some quiet rules and just keep things down. We're in a neighborhood, so we just like to respect that they're letting us here. We just ask that crew and racers respect that as well. Saturday is going to be a big day as well. Our backyard racers will still be out there. 6 a.m. again is when the park technically opens to the general public, when we can start getting a little more rowdy, that kind of thing. 6 to 9 is going to be packet pickup for the DoubleDown races, as well as the Sylvan Hill, Kids Hill loop races. Again, stop up in the chalet, and that goes all the way up till noon for the kids race. Stop up in the chalet, we'll give you your bib and everything else. 9:30 a.m. on Saturday, April 29th is when the DoubleDown races start. We'll go over in more detail how the DoubleDown has changed this year in a little bit, but 9:30 is the start whether you're doing 1 loop or 2 loop. 10 o'clock is when the backyarders will have completed lap 25, so they'll have 100 miles down. Super exciting. 12:05 is when the Sylvan Summit Kids Race starts. Again, we'll talk about that one a little more in detail, some changes, really fun changes for this year. But 12:05 to 12:25 is going to be the timing for the Sylvan Kids Race. 12:30 is DoubleDown cutoff, but again, whether you're doing 1 or 2 loops, 12:30 is the cutoff. And then 1:05 is when we will be doing the DoubleDown Race Awards. So make sure you're there for that. Anything else on the schedule that weekend is just going to be determined by the backyard racers.
All right, next up, we are going to go through some of the race specifics and info for our backyard racers. If you're not sure what the race is yet, which is a little scary because I'm sure you've already signed up, but you also do have until Wednesday, April 26th to sign up if you haven't yet.
At midnight.
At midnight. So, in case you're looking to sign up yet and wondering what the backyard is, you are going to run 4.167 miles every hour on the hour. You must complete that loop every hour and be back ready to go again at the top of the next hour. The race starts, like Ellen said, Friday at 10 a.m., and you go until you can't, till there's one person left. So self-supported area, when you show up here, there's going to be some staked off areas. It's going to be a 10 by 10 area that is going to be marked off. You have to make sure to keep everything that you have, tent, any gear you have within that area. If you have a tent, please be sure to also bring stakes and something that's going to hold your tent down in case we have weather like we did last year, so your tent isn't blowing across the yard. The chalet that we have up above, it's going to have a limited number of outlets and stuff that you can use for charging things, but wouldn't count on it because there's a limited number and every racer is going to be trying to use those maybe at some point. So if you can make sure to bring your own stuff for charging and be sure you're good to go on your own, that's great. What is not allowed? We do not allow open fires in the area or generators, so don't bring flame, don't bring generators. What is allowed, if you have any small like propane cooktops, easy up tents, battery powered lights, that's all welcome to be brought and kept within your 10 by 10 area. Ellen had said no setup prior to 6 a.m. on Friday, so don't plan to come Thursday night and set up your stuff. Don't come at 2 a.m., set up your stuff, come at 6 a.m. to start to set up your stuff. Based on backyard rules, there's going to be a 3-minute warning, a 2-minute warning, and a 1-minute warning. So that will be every loop. Don't ask us in the middle of the night not to give the 3-minute warning because you want an extra minute of sleep. We can't. We have to do 3, 2, and 1. What is also not allowed? No trekking poles on this course. We know it's a hilly course, and we've gotten the question, can I use poles? You are not allowed on backyard rules to use poles. So leave those at home. You cannot leave the course. Once you've started your loop every hour, you cannot leave the course to grab any aid or anything else, with the exception of stepping into the woods to use the bathroom. Do the whole loop. Don't cut. Don't cheat. You're here to make this your own race, so there's no point in cheating. So just don't do it. If we find that there's cheating, you may be disqualified, asked to leave our race. Follow traffic rules, yield to emergency vehicles. Probably not going to pertain to this course. The majority of it's on the trail, but if for some reason something would happen out there and you would encounter one, just be sure to yield to that. You are responsible for your crew. So anybody you bring with you as your crew, they're your responsibility. Make sure they're following our quiet hours at night, that they're not out on the course with you. There is no crewing on this course. So make sure they are following these rules. Make sure they know the guide as well. Pretty self-explanatory. No littering out on the course. We love it here at Sylvan. We love to take care of this place. So if you could too, that would be great. If you see any random trash and have a chance to grab it from out there, please do that as well.
We'll give you an extra cookie at the aid station.
No smoking or drug use. Kind of self-explanatory on that one. No aid can be given to you while on the course. So be sure every time you come back from your loop, you're getting what you need for that next loop. Put it in your pack, stash it in your pockets, because nobody can come out there and hand you anything. Also, don't plan on, after your first couple loops, you see a great spot out there where you're like, oh, it'd be nice to grab my water bottle here. You cannot stash anything out mid-loop, so don't plan to do that. Another big part for us to help ensure you're coming in every loop is make sure you have your bib on the front of your body and visible for us to see every loop. That's just going to help us make sure that we are recording you are coming in every loop and completing it. Finally, severe weather. It's going to be a gorgeous weekend just like it is out here today, so we're not going to have to worry about this. But if anything comes up, your race directors are going to take care of that, notify you about it, and tell you the plan go forward. If we're going to take a pause and resume at the top of the next hour, so don't worry about that. We got that covered for you. Finally, for backyarders, if you're to the point where you are done, I don't want to do another loop on the hour, you're dropping out, be sure to come let a race director know, and we will mark that off that you are done with your loops.
It's also required that you ring the bell, so...
Oh yeah, that's part of our fun. We're going to have a bell up here in the chalet, and when you are done, when you are tapping out, you are going to come and ring that bell. Show some pride for the number of loops you've completed.
Completed.
Yeah.
So I'm going to talk more about the DoubleDown, and this is super important. We've made some changes this year, so really want to make sure everyone knows what those changes are, so you're not surprised on race day. We're really excited about the changes, so we hope you are too. So for the DoubleDown, we have two options. There's 1 loop and 2 loops. And to back up a little bit, if this sounds like something you'd want to do, it is also open for registration until Wednesday, April 26th at midnight. So make sure you check that out. So there's going to be a 1 loop or a 2 loop option. Both of those are going to start Saturday, April 29th at 9:30 a.m. We don't have a relay option. This is just for solo racers, okay? And what's going to happen is 9:30, everyone's going to take off when you're doing the DoubleDown. And if you're doing one loop, you'll finish your loop and we'll give you your finish time. You have a 12:30 p.m. cutoff for that race. If you're doing 2 loops, you also have a 12:30 cutoff. We will not be, if you're doing 2 loops of the double down or the course, we will not be recording splits. We will only record your start time and your finish time. So if you want to get your split, make sure you have a friend recording it, or if you want to record it on your watch and be super fancy, feel free to do that, but we'll just be recording the 8.2, whatever it is. So just be aware of that. So like I said, pretty self-explanatory. Show up 9:30, run your either 1 or 2 loops. If you are doing the 2 loop, you can stop in the middle and do whatever the heck you want. I mean, you can take a nap, you can do yoga. If you feel like you have time, you can take snacks. But just know that it's all going to go toward your large final cumulative time. The course is the exact same course that we have for the backyard. And so it's super fun that way because you can give encouragement to the backyarders, but also be cognizant that they've been out since 10 a.m. on Friday. And so if they're a little loopy, just know that's probably why. But yeah, definitely be just wary of them so that you're not getting in their way or causing issues, and just respect each other. I think that's the simplest way to put it. So. Words for the double down, we'll be giving first, second, and third in male and female categories. We'll be doing awards on that Saturday at 1:05 p.m. after the double down is completely done, and after the Sylvan Summit is done as well. We'd love if you stay, but if you don't, that's okay too. As far as race rules for the double down, very similar to backyard, but I'm still just going to reiterate them because I would like to. So same thing, no trekking poles. You have to be at the starting corral when we start, no late starts or early starts or anything else other than just be here when we start and get going. Don't leave the course unless you're going to the bathroom in the woods. Do the whole loop, don't cut, don't cheat. You're out here to challenge yourself, so make sure you do that. Same thing if you have crew, you're responsible for them. Make sure they're not blocking the trail, especially because Saturday can get pretty busy on the trails. Just cheer from off the trail and be respectful of everyone. Same thing as far as the bib. Must be visible on the front of your body. If you want accurate times, and I think everyone does, make sure it's in the front. We want to be able to recognize you for the badassery you did. So. Same thing for severe weather. Double down, we have a little more flexibility. If it's severe when we start, we may delay the start. Or if one loop comes in and there's severe weather, we may kind of pause the race clock and then start when we're able to.
Just one other point for backyard and double down. As we were talking about respect on the trail, the course is open to the public that weekend. So there might be people out there walking dogs, walking the trail. So if you just see anybody else, out there, just be aware that they could be out there too, just enjoying the trails here. So then on to our Sylvan Summit, which is our kids race. We have a small change to that one too this year that we are very excited about, and we think the kids are going to love. We know last year a lot of them came in and said, when do I get to go out on my next loop? You're going to get to do that this year. We are kind of doing it in a backyard fun style for the kids as well. It is going to be just a short loop around Sylvan here, probably about a 1/4 mile in length. But we are going to do it as a timed event. It's going to be 20 minutes, and your kids can do as many loops of that course as they want to or as they can. So, our little ones, maybe they can make their very first loop here at Sylvan, and some of our older ones, maybe they're shooting for, let's see how many we can do in total. The details on our kids. This is open to children 1 through 12 on race day. So they're welcome to join if they're in that age range. This will be Saturday the start is at 12:05 p.m. But before that, we are going to have a local organization, Girls on the Run, that they help us with our kids race. They're amazing. They're going to be here about 10 o'clock that morning, and they're going to have a bunch of kids activities set up either in the chalet or outside, depending on weather. But they will have things for the kids as well as some bib decorating, so your kids get to decorate their own bib for the race. This race is free for all children, so we encourage you to bring out any of your kids that want to try out some running. We suggest maybe a $5 to $10 donation, but absolutely not necessary. Bring out those kids and just get them into running.
I'm super excited to see what the kiddos can do this year. So just some general information for all the races that we're doing here. We just had a training run just before we're filming this, and the course is there. But I know people get nervous, like, oh, am I going to be able to see it? We are going to have it so dang well marked. We have so many flags purchased, so they're going to be super bright. We'll have signs out, so you will not get lost. You will have to try to get lost. So I wouldn't worry about that. That's one thing you do not have to stress about. So just know that. And you'll see them when you come on race day. If you have questions about them, again, just let us know, and we'll show you what those look like. As far as what is provided for you as a racer by us is mostly going to be here at the home base area because you're here every 4.167 miles. In the chalet, there are a couple bathrooms there. We're also going to have additional porta potties and even some that you can use, one right here where you can hit it right around the 1.5 mile mark or so. So if you need to go, that'll be an option for you. Those will have hand washing stations as well. Here at home base, we'll have a couple of little tents for you to change in if you'd like. We will be providing a pizza oven, a microwave. Our volunteers will be using that to prep some of the race food, but if it's open, your crew or you are welcome to use it. Just let us know if you have questions. Inside the aid station, we really try and give you a lot of options to really provide you with what you need to keep going long. Things that we can guarantee that we will have. As far as hydration, we do water. We will do gnarly, which is kind of like I shouldn't mix names, but Tailwind, gnarly, kind of similar. So that'll be in a lot of the bins that we have. We'll have coffee, hot chocolate, and then a variety of different sodas. As far as food, we do plan to have quite a few gluten-free options as well. So we'll do pizza and have a gluten-free option. We'll have quesadillas and have a gluten-free option with like some corn tortillas. I should say this right now, can't guarantee that everything is totally gluten-free. So if you have an intolerance, but do okay if it's on the same cutting board, great. We just can't guarantee that it's totally gluten-free. We'll do pancakes, lots of bacon. That is always a very popular item. So tons of bacon, ramen. We'll do some veggie and chicken broth. And of course, all the salty things as well. So we'll do chips, pretzels, sweet stuff like cookies, candy, a little bit of mix of both. Do some trail mix. Pickles, we will have a ton of that. And I know people love the pickle juice. So we'll have some straight up pickle juice so you can do shots before your next loop. PB&J, salted potatoes, mashed potatoes, all that kind of thing. So we'll have a really good variety for you, some fruit, and just know that if you need something super specific, I recommend you bring it, but if it falls within kind of that general items, we'll be sure to have it for you. We'll have a little first aid corner. Again, if you need something particular, make sure you bring it, but you're welcome to dig into whatever's there. We'll just have kind of some basic items, KT tape, Band-Aids, though no one's going to fall, so cold packs, that kind of thing. We'll also have a bunch of squirrel's nut butter. If you're not familiar, it's an anti-chafing, anti-rubbing material that you can use to prevent chafing.
All right, recommended gear for our backyard racers, or other racers, I suppose. Remember, we recommend bringing everything but the kitchen sink, as long as you can keep it to your 10 by 10 area. It's April in Wisconsin, and as we've seen from this year, we can either have 85-degree days or 8 inches of snow. So keep that in mind when you're bringing your clothing options. Bring some warmer layers for at night, possibly, because you're all going to be running into that first night, we know. Cooler stuff for the daytime, shorts and tanks if you need that. Definitely probably some extra socks and shoes this year. There is some wetness still on the course down in the lower lying areas. Any hats, jackets, that sort of stuff. You guys are kind of familiar with what you like to wear while you run, so make sure you're packing them, and maybe some extras. You might want to throw in a blanket, so between loops, if it's cooler, you can come back and warm up before you're headed out on that next loop. Extra shoes. We know people love bringing extra shoes. They've said in the past years, when they get to that maybe 100-mile mark, it feels amazing to take off their socks and shoes and switch that out. Running vest, if you like to have that for your hydration, or a belt. Otherwise, if you're just grabbing your hydration in between loops, you can leave that at your 10 by 10 area. Because you are all going to be going through that first night, you're going to want to be sure to bring a headlamp or hand lamp, whatever you use for lighting on the way at night, and some extra batteries. Again, we have those outlets inside the chalet, but if you want to make sure you're definitely having everything charged on your own, be sure to bring your own chargers and have that in your 10 by 10 area. Nutrition and hydration. As Ellen mentioned, in the chalet, there's going to be a lot of options, water, gnarly, soda. But if you have something specific you like to have in your bottle or hydration pack, be sure to bring that along and have that in your 10 by 10 so you're filling up every hour. Extras, any extras that you have that we might not have on hand, sunscreen, any medical items, if you like a certain anti-chafe product, chafe, lip balm, bug repellent, anything like that you might want to bring along that you think you might need. Technical items, light sources, again, make sure you have those along. Make sure you have extra chargers, extra batteries. your handy dandy watch if you like to have that recorded so you have it out on Strava for all your friends to see your awesome accomplishment, your camera so you can take some pictures so you can tag us on social media, your cell phone, music. Let's talk about that a little bit. So you can listen to music out on the course, but we recommend if you're going to do it that you maybe just have one earbud in so you're aware of your surroundings, other runners coming through. Like we said, the course is open to the public, so there might be other people out there. So just kind of always be aware of your surroundings if you are using that music. Items for your home base tent. We've put out some cribs videos, so if you want to go back and check those out, you can see what other people have done for setup. Some people have cots in theirs, lawn chairs, sleeping cots, blankets, that sort of thing. Anything that's going to make your crew happy while they're sitting here for 24 plus hours waiting for you to come back. Get that set up in your tent, so make sure to bring those items along.
Timing's always something that people want to know more details about. So as far as what you can actually see during race weekend, we have this big, beautiful timing clock that's going to be here at our starting area. So if you ever need to reference it when you're in your tent, feel free to just pop out. That is the clock that we are going to be going by. So we'll be giving you the 3-minute, 2-minute, 1-minute warning according to that clock. Rob is amazing and has made an app for the WausaUltra backyard specifically. And so if you're listening to this and you're a backyard racer, please make sure that you've emailed us a picture because we love to have your smiling face next to your information and people can track and see the amazing stuff you're doing. That link is going to be on our website and we'll put it on social media and that kind of thing as well. People can take a look at that app and see what lap you're on and how you're doing throughout the race weekend. We're also going to be publishing the results from the DoubleDown. Give us a little bit of time. We usually get those public on Monday after the race, but we will have the results obviously by our racing and finish tent. So if you're curious what your finish time was, just stop by and chat with us and we'll be able to let you know. And then obviously we will have the results up too, so you can see them in person at the time of awards. Again, we're just going to reiterate the heck out of this. In order for us to do a nice job of timing you and providing you with an accurate time, biggest thing we need is for that bib to be very, very visible. So if it's cold, if it's hot, doesn't matter. We need that bib on top. We need it facing forward. That way we get to know who you are too. But that is the only way that we can ensure that we have your accurate time. As far as what else we would need, you do have to cross the finish line before going to the aid station. It's going to be super tempting. You come by when you're finishing a loop and the aid station chalet is there, your tent might be there. You need to cross the finish line and then go to those areas. If you don't, we can't actually record your loop if you're doing the backyard or your finish if you're doing the double down. You do have to tell us if you're dropping. This is mostly just for safety. Obviously, we want to know if you end up dropping out on the course. We want to make sure no one got lost or hurt or anything like that, and you just can't leave. So whether it's telling us in person or if you have our numbers, we'll make sure that one of those is public too. You can definitely let us know, but make sure you touch base with one of the race directors.
Crewing and spectator information. So this is really for your crew if you are bringing one. You aren't required to bring your crew, so there are self-support options. We will have an area close to home base that's available if you're self-supporting as well, that you can set up some additional gear and stuff there. But if you are bringing a crew along, you are going to be manning the home base, the 10 by 10 area for your runner. So you're going to want to get that set up and make sure it's efficient as possible so that when your runner's coming in at the top of the hour, you're able to get them exactly what they need to get them back out there for that next loop. So refilling bottles, getting them their food, whatever they're going to want coming in from that loop. Know your runner's goals, dreams, wishes, hopes for race weekend. If you're all on the same page, it makes it a lot easier to know that they're shooting for this and you're doing everything possible to get them there. Know your racer's needs. If you have a racer that after 50 miles, the only thing they can eat is pickles and saltines, have pickles and saltines ready. If they like a certain type of drink, know that about them and have it ready. And sometimes that all goes out the window on race day, and then be prepared to figure it out together as a team to figure out what is needed for that racer. We have some local gas stations and grocery stores real close by, so if all of a sudden Bugles is the only thing that sounds good to them, you're going to be able to run and get some of those for them. Have a safe word. We recommend armadillo. You go into a race knowing what the hopes and dreams are of your runner, but at some point they're going to say, I'm done. You need to know your runner enough to know when to push and when to call it. If you are good at communicating that as a team, you're going to know when the right call is there. Make sure also you as a crew member are eating and drinking. It's super easy to get into race weekend and you are 100% taking care of your runner, making sure they're doing great, and all of a sudden you crash. Make sure you're resting when you can in between loops, grabbing drinks, grabbing some food for yourself as well. I think Ellen always says put on your own oxygen mask first so you can take care of others. Find us if at any point, us race directors, if you have a concern about your runner's safety, their mental condition, any of that, and we can address it as a team. But be sure you're just checking in with your runner, seeing how they're doing. Rules for you as a crew. We talked about this with the racers, but we'll reiterate to you in this part. Crew members are not allowed out on our course. No pacing, so don't plan, after 50 miles to be out there with that runner pacing them. You are not allowed on the course to either run with them or to provide them aid. 15 minutes prior to the top of every hour, we are going to ask that all crew members and spectators be out of the chalet area, out of the aid station. That's just going to give our runners some more area in there to come in as they're coming in, quick grab what they're needing, use restrooms, so you'll be out of their way so they really have first priority to that area at that time. Again, respect the land just like the runners, picking up trash if you see it, no throwing around trash. We're going to have plenty of trash bins around the area so that you can dump anything you need to. No need to be stashing it anywhere. Find those bins and put them in there. Again, obey traffic laws, any emergency vehicles that might come into the area. And above all, help us follow if your racer is dropping. Come notify us as well if they're not able to. If you're not following any of these rules that we've laid out for crew, it risks putting your racer for a disqualification. So just be sure you're aware of everything that's going on and following the rules for our crew. I think that's it. We should have answered everything. So you guys probably don't have to show up to Q&A on that Wednesday, but if you have any additional questions, something we didn't cover, if you want to know before that, feel free to shoot us a message, shoot us an email. We can get it answered. Otherwise, show up that Wednesday at 6:30 on Facebook to the live Q&A, and we will get everything answered for you before race day. We will see you soon for racing.
Thank you.